Thanks everybody. Welcome to the 2010 spring trials at Pacific Plug and Liner. This year we've done 2 comparison trials, Ipomoea or sweet potato vine, which is an important crop nationwide, and Spanish lavender, which is a really important crop, especially for the West Coast and in particular California. Pacific Plug and Liner does a comparison trial each year. We try and focus on new breeding, an important genera or class of plants that has had a lot of breeding development. And kind of our criteria is to showcase everything that's commercially available. Growers have a lot of choices, so we like to grow everything out, put them in front of them so they can make decisions for their programs. I'll start off with Ipomoea. Ipomoea, or sweet potato as it's known, it's typically a food crop, but there's been a lot of breeding to bring out its ornamental features. There's basically Marguerite, Blackie, Ace of Spades were kind of the first 3 unpatented varieties. Blackie looking very similar to Bright Ideas Black right here, and here's Ace of Spades. So basically Ipomoea are so popular because they're one of those few plants that are excellent for mixed containers. They're great in trailing combinations. They perform in summer conditions in the Midwest and in the South. They just thrive. One of the first breeding programs was actually at a North Carolina state, the Sweet Carolines. We'll touch on those later. And literally in the last 2 to 3 years, you've had a number of companies breeding sweet potatoes because of the success of the Sweet Carolines and the other unpatented varieties. So I'll just kind of touch on some of the highlights as we go down. If you flip to the very back of the pack magazine, you'll see the list of those alphabetically if you want to make any notes. Jump in anytime if you have questions. Ace of Spades is a heart-shaped black-leafed variety. Really nice, straightforward. It gets kind of some cool modeling in the leaves. Still a really good one in this trial. I like the larger heart-leafed shape. Blackheart from Euro is basically kind of a sub for Ace of Spades, probably their own selection. But very similar. Bright Ideas is bred by Florinova. This is one of the newer selections. Bright Ideas, especially the lime, is pretty nicely matched as a series, and the lime being probably the most compact and really nicely branched, ideal for 1-gallon containers. A couple trends that we noticed right off the bat across the board is that in general the greens are better branched and have better habits for container production. Especially anything with the chartreuse or lime foliage. Opposite of that would be the black selections, in particular the heartleaf black selections. They have a tendency to go up and be kind of floppy in the pot, almost like a lollipop effect. I'm not sure if that can be improved with breeding, but in general the limes are the most suitable for smaller containers. The other trend we noticed is that the series in general are not really series, they're more so collections. As you can see here with the Chillins, you have 3 distinctly different types of leaf type and colors. They're not really well matched as a series, and you can kind of claim that for almost all of the series in Ipomoea. Dasanas from Suntory, it's kind of a unique group. I really like the bronze. It's probably one of the better blacks with habit, especially heartleaf blacks. Big black circular leaf, definitely an improvement in my opinion over Ace of Spades. A really nice one. Compact red, not so compact, not so red. Not sure where this fits into the mix. Something a little different. And then Dasana lime matches the bronze nicely with the heart-shaped leaf. And then of course maple, which again is its own thing. So here you have a good example of a lot of nice varieties, but all different in their own way. One of my favorites from early on is a singular variety called Goldfinger. From what I understand, this is an unprotected variety. So this is a great improvement over the Sweet Carolines and some of the other protected ones with just as good of a habit and a lot lower cost, which is important for growers. One of the more novelties of the group is the Illusions. The Illusions have really extremely dissected leaves, which kind of makes them fun. Illusion Lime, again, more compact, and then the Illusion Midnight Lace, which is really cool. Definitely something different there. Then you have Good old-fashioned Marguerite. This is one of those first 3 unprotected varieties that kind of got Ipomoea on the map. Marguerite's excellent for large containers, mixed containers. It will get away from you pretty quickly once you get into the warmer months of the year. It works early on in a gallon in our climate. We're fortunate enough to have cool nights, but in warmer parts of the country, this will start trailing quite quickly. One variety that I think matches Marguerite nicely is the Bewitched, the Sweet Caroline Bewitched, which is kind of unique in its leaf. No other ones have a leaf like that, and it has nice vigor along with the Marguerite. So maybe as a combination for both, that would work. Sidekicks from Syngenta, again, more of a collection. 3 solid varieties, but all unique in themselves. I'm not really a fan across the board of any of the smaller heartleaf types. They seem to suffer the worst from that lollipop effect. But the Sidekick Lime, very nice, and then they have a nicely branched black. The Sweet Carolines, as I mentioned before, this was kind of the first protected bred series out of North Carolina. They have that nice bronzy copper color available in a cut leaf, and then they have a nicely matched purple as well as a deeper red. So I'd say from a series perspective that the Sweet Carolines are probably the most uniform across all colors. The Sweet Caroline Sweetheart are the heart-shaped group, a little more variable in their habits, but still good. And then good old-fashioned tricolor. Someone brought up a good question before, why hasn't tricolor been improved upon? Because it's got really pretty foliage. You know, expand that leaf, get some different leaf shapes. I haven't seen anything or come across anything yet, but nice variety nonetheless. Any questions on Ipomoea? From a culture side of things, these were planted in week 5. They had 50 to 55 degree nights, and they received just 1 soft pinch once they were pot full. No growth regulators, and this was what you have. With our cool nights, we can control them a little better, but if you were to do this in somewhere where you get your day temps and night temps are warmer, you're gonna have a much bigger plant on your hands. Some of the breeding goals maybe for Ipomoea, where can we go from here? Maybe breeding more compact series that will match nicely in mixed containers that won't take over and will complement Verbenas and Calibrachoas. And then maybe more vigorous or more trailing types that work well in baskets. But definitely I'd like to see more uniformity within a series, if you're going to call it a series, and getting more of these rusty reds and copper colors. So any questions on Ipomoea? That I'm not sure. I think they would, probably like a B9, because they have a nice broad leaf surface kind of to tone them a bit. That could help you hold them a little longer, especially in warm climates. Definitely they respond a lot to temperature, so cooler the slower they grow. All right, we can circle around here and we'll start on the lavenders.